Breaking news, San Francisco 49er fans. This is some fantastic news on Tuesday, June 4th, as the San Francisco 49ers have extended their second offensive player of the offseason. Can we make it 3 for 3? I don't know. We're going to have to find out. But before we get into all that, this is going to be our instant reaction to Christian McCaffrey signing a 2-year contract extension with an additional $38 million. Show CMC that green, baby. Let's go. So we're going to talk about it all. We're, of course, going to talk about Brandon Aiyuk and everything that's going down at mandatory minicamp right now. Players are on the field. So we're going to get our quick reaction before we get to our press conferences in about 30 minutes. So it gives us some time to express ourselves. I want to hear from you guys in the chat. But first of all, before we get into this, drop an SDS in the chat. Also, drop some money bags if you're feeling it, and smash that like button. We're going to talk about it all right now. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Let's freaking go. Oh, we got a Jed York tweet. Wake up, honey. We got a Jed York tweet. Alex said Jed tweeted. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. So Jed York just tweeted, do you ever have a premonition that you'll be sending out a tweet later in the day thanking and congratulating someone for a job well done? It's a great feeling. Now, I believe that is in response to CMC getting paid. We'll continue to see what that might mean. But hey, Jed York, excited about extending Christian McCaffrey. And why wouldn't you be excited about this, ladies and gentlemen? The San Francisco 49ers just locked up the reigning offensive player of the year in the entire NFL for an additional 2 more years. So keep in mind, let's break down the kind of structure of the deal and what it all means. With Christian McCaffrey, he is under contract already for 2 years. What this means is they tacked on an additional 2 more years, meaning Christian McCaffrey will be on your San Francisco 49ers until 2027. So any questions of, are they going to be able to pay Brandon Aiyuk? Are they going to be able to pay Jawan Jennings, CMC, Brock Purdy, all these guys? Now, obviously, we're waiting for one, but we expect Brock Purdy going to get a big payday. And on top of that, on top of getting that big payday, we're already looking like we're going to have a lot of weapons still surrounding Brock Purdy. One of the main ones being this guy right here. And again, just to kind of emphasize the type of year that Christian McCaffrey had last season, he was tied in second in the NFL with carries with 272, 1,459 rushing yards, which was first in the NFL, 14 rushing touchdowns. Not bad, not bad. And also, he added 67 receptions, 564 yards, and 7 additional touchdowns through the air. Things you love to see. Christian McCaffrey getting paid. We'll talk about Aiyuk in a second, but here are some of the finer details of what the San Francisco 49ers handed out to Christian McCaffrey. Per Spotrac, Christian McCaffrey had 2 years, $24 million remaining on his contract with the San Francisco 49ers. And again, this became a huge talking point because guess who didn't show up to OTAs? Christian McCaffrey. Guess who is the type of player to always show up to OTAs? Christian McCaffrey. So it raised questions, and rightfully so, because it's dead on the head that Christian McCaffrey did not go to OTAs because he was in the middle of negotiating a new contract and a well-deserved raise. So again, I actually appreciate the fact that we didn't know Christian McCaffrey was in the middle of a contract negotiation. In fact, we kind of had to find out. We had to piece it together on our own. And to me, that is where I appreciate it because it snuck up on us. The only reason why we had even thought about this was because of the situation of him not showing up. And then it was like, oh, yeah, he has no more guaranteed money on his deal, a deal that was negotiated by the Carolina Panthers, in which obviously the 49ers traded for CMC from. And then it made sense now officially of why CMC was not at OTAs. It's because he was looking for that new deal. And again, Spotrac continues to say, assuming this is 2 new years, $38 million in new money. He is now looking at a 4-year, $62 million in total value contract through 2027. Oh, oh boy. Oh boy. Let's go. 27 years old. You gotta love it. You got to love it. The San Francisco 49ers get CMC and keep him for a long time. A lot of people I see in the chat talking about the Brandon Aiyuk, or not the Brandon Aiyuk tweet, but the Jed York tweet. I just don't know if it is related to Brandon Aiyuk. I think a lot of people are assuming it's related to Brandon Aiyuk, but to me, it kind of feels like a congratulatory. There we go. Thank you. Tweet about CMC getting paid. So that's the way that I'm reading it. But hey, if Jed York wants to tweet out more things and we get more players signed, let's do it. I'm ready to put the off-season contract negotiation talks behind us and focus up on the new season. But yeah, man, I love the Christian McCaffrey signing based on the assumed details. What would you guys grade this deal? I want to see from you guys in the chat. What would your grades be? Instant grades of this. I would be surprised to see anything less than an A. But to each their own. That's why we give you the opportunity to make the grades heard and felt. Ooh, I like this. TM says over the cap says it creates around 8.5 million each year over the next 4 years in cap space. Look at that. Look at that. And for anyone who's putting anything less than an A, I don't accept it. I assume you're just trolling. And so that is how I'm going to perceive it moving forward. Tough, tough to be you. Because I love this. I I like where we're at here. I like where we're at here with this deal. And again, this is why for me, I really try not to judge these contract situations too much because for the same reasons why we hear people complaining and crying about uh Brandon Ayuk's ask, you hear those people say, "Oh, he wants what? Oh, that's too much. Get him out of here. Kick rocks. We don't want Brandon Ayuk anyways." And it's just like I've seen these comments over the last couple days and I'm like, "Man, you have no clue. You just see the 30 million tag and you just assume what that means. We have no idea the intricate details that go into these contracts. Things like this happen all the time where you're able to create more space by extending signing bonuses, etc., etc. So according to Over the Cap, brought to us by TM, it does appear that the 49ers have actually freed up more additional space. Uh, fantastic. Fantastic. Shout out to all my spotters too, who are calling out content that I can't see since we're streaming. That's what I need. I need content spotters. When I'm on stream, I need people to be looking around, seeing what's going out, and alerting me to what's out there on the social media street so I can bring it to you ASAP. But before we get to any of that, I want to pull some receipts. I know you guys remember this. Christian McCaffrey getting a C minus for the trade that the 49ers acquired Christian McCaffrey for. And just for a reminder, Christian McCaffrey was traded for a second round pick, a third round pick, and a fourth round pick with an additional next year fifth round pick. And ESPN was like, "Oh, that's a C minus. That's a C minus trade." And surprisingly enough, a lot of people didn't like this move. A lot of people didn't like this trade when it happened. And for me, all I needed to prove is that Christian McCaffrey was healthy. That was it. And when you watched Christian McCaffrey on tape before the 49ers traded for him, I remember watching him in that game against the Rams before the 49ers ultimately traded for him. He was phenomenal. And I was like, sign me up yesterday. This dude has everything you want, still has the juice. You can see it in the legs. It's still there. And he has absolutely outperformed the trade. And it's also great because Christian McCaffrey liked this original. This is from his Twitter account. He liked it, the C minus. Some may say that Christian McCaffrey took that assessment of the trade personal, and he has absolutely maximized it to its fullest extent. This is a shot I got of CMC stiff arming CJ Gardner Johnson from the NFC Championship game. And I mean, this play to me is just like, this is CMC. Just a freaking dog. Doesn't say anything, doesn't chirp, just kind of, I'm him. That's what that was. Stiff arm CJ Gardner Johnson talking on the sideline, waving goodbye to 49er fans. You have like 14 Lions guys trying to take him down. And CMC's just like, what? I'm here. I'm him. Get off me, son. Love to see it. Love to see CMC. Oh, yeah. Stiff arm that C minus grade, because that C minus grade is a bunch of baloney. Bunch of baloney. And guess what? I bet there's someone somewhere talking about how this is a bad deal for the San Francisco 49ers to pay a running back. Oh, in this market, how can you pay a running back that amount? You know what I'm saying? Like there's there's someone out there doing that. It's happening right now, or it will happen later. Um, all that good stuff too. I also want to pull some receipts on some of my subscribers as well. Yes, I love all of you. I love all of you who subscribe to the channel, who watch my videos, who engage, and also, vibe with our lives and all those different types of things. But it's time to call out some subscribers. I'm pulling some receipts on some of you complainers out here, just complaining. So if this is you, you have the opportunity to apologize, and I will take your apology and we'll move on with our day and we'll be happy and we'll be all good to go from here. But it's time. It's time. Just for example, right here. Stop with this narrative. This was today when I reported that, oh, look, Christian McCaffrey reported to mandatory minicamp. Stop with this narrative. None of the faithful was concerned. CMC never hinted or mentioned a holdout. Good for him. They need something to talk about. You know how it goes. When you don't have a life, you just sell Mother Goose stories. Really, Finesse Jets 4231. All right, Pro Fitted 87. Just a name 14. Typical names of someone who would say that situation. And then I just said, this comment aged like milk, because it did. And that is our receipts portion of the day. There are plenty more where these come from, but I felt it was time. It was time. All you I love it, man. Oh, good stuff. I'm hyped. I'm happy. I think this is fantastic. They have contract detail updates. I haven't seen anything come out about the details. Let me double check here. Okay, so the contract details, it's a 4-year, $62.2 million contract with $38 million of that being new money. McCaffrey now has $24 million in full guaranteed compared to none with his previous deal. So it sounds like our reporting has been pretty accurate. I don't see anything new in that regard. So based on what we've been talking about, that seems pretty on point. This right here, I'll show you the full breakdown. This is via Pro Football Talk by way of 49ers Web Zone. So let me get this to you. So this is the full breakout of the contract. As you can see, the high level details are up here. And then you see the individual breakdowns of the payouts as it goes on. So it does sound like this is a 4-year deal. It's through 2027. And we're rocking. We're rocking. Love it. Absolutely love it. We get a good deal. We do have, yes. So we should be hearing from Kyle Shanahan at noon Pacific Standard Time. He's scheduled for a press conference, so we should be hearing from him shortly. And so we're gonna hear from him. We're probably gonna hear from some other players. So I would imagine we're gonna hear from Christian McCaffrey on his new deal. That's an assumption. I don't know, but it would make sense to me that that would be the case. So yes, we got media, all that good stuff. Anything on Trent? Trent is there, but he's not practicing. At least that's what we're hearing. This Nick Wagner literally just tweeted this. These are the guys that he did not see at training camp today. So this just came out. He tweeted this 2 minutes ago. He didn't see Brandon Aiyuk, Bosa, Trent Williams, Yamador Lenore, Ambry Thomas, Jair Brown, Rock Yassin, Dre Greenlaw, Jake Brendel. Christian McCaffrey was here, but not seen on the field. So, again, I would not expect Trent Williams to participate in this situation. I'm not too concerned at all by anyone who is or is not participating at this particular time in the year, as long as we find out that it's nothing crazy. So I'm not too particularly concerned one way or the other. I actually prefer Trent Williams to not be there. We also just got this. This from Nick Wagner too. He just tweeted 49ers who did not participate but were seen working on the side or observing practice. Charvarius Ward, Talanoa Hufanga, Fred Warner, Jonathan Feliciano, Cameron Latu, Jacob Cowing, George Kittle, Jordan Elliott, Drake Jackson, Malik Collins. So half the team, half the starters are not participating in practice today. I really am not worried one bit at all about this. So, well, like obviously I see people like Ambry's not there, like there are guys who you'd want to see out there participating, especially in make it or break it years, and all that stuff. So, oh, interesting. David Lombardi just tweeted, so with Jake Brendel out and Jonathan Feliciano out, that means that Ben Barch was your starting center today. Honestly, Ben Barch is a guy I'm not sleeping on Barch boy. I'm not at all. I I I like Ben Barch. I think Ben Barch might be able to surprise over here. So we'll see. Brandon, appreciate the super chat. Says Brad, with this signing and us drafting Garendo, what are your thoughts around the RB room for the future? Do we keep all of Mitchell Mason Garendo? Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, the 49ers also added Patrick Taylor from the Green Bay Packers, who actually is low-key underrated. Again, he's the guy that I knew of before we signed him, and he was on my radar prior. Um, so he could be a surprise. We'll have to wait till we get to training camp. And then Cody Schrader. Cody Schrader is a guy that you can tell can play running back at this position. He might not test well, he might not be the fastest. You can tell when a running back has quality instincts. On top of that, you don't rush for over 1,600 yards in the SEC without being able to run the football. So he got knocked for his height and his measurables and testing numbers and all those things. But Cody Schrader is a guy that I can't wait to see not only in training camp, but in preseason with live bullets. So the way that I look, at the running back room playing out, they're going to keep 5. One of those is Kyle Juszczyk. It's going to be Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Isaac Guerendo, and Jordan Mason. I would assume Cody Schrader, Patrick Taylor will be your practice squad guys. And then I wouldn't be surprised if either Elijah Mitchell or Jordan Mason or both. I wouldn't say both, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Elijah Mitchell or Jordan Mason floated in potential trade talks, mid-season potentially. I think the 49ers would be smart to start the year with those 4 backs. But we do know Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason will be free agents. So if you can turn those guys into draft picks in the middle of the year and you feel confident with guys like Cody Schrader, Isaac Guerendo, maybe a Patrick Taylor, you could have the flexibility to maybe move an Elijah or move a Mason. We'll have to see how it ultimately works out in the long run. But I think the 49ers running back room is pretty darn deep right now, considering the vets that they have behind McCaffrey and the injection of rookie talent and the guy that they brought in from free agency. I think the 49ers absolutely have a pretty solid running back room as it currently stands. And hey, if we need Juice to play running back in a pinch, we know he can do it. Juice can do everything. So, yeah, man, a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff today. Logan Thomas out there on the field, 49ers new tight end, all that good stuff. Pretty awesome, man. Pretty good day. Pretty good day so far. But honestly, when it comes to on the field stuff, we'll take it with a grain of salt, because what we really want to see, at least what I really want to see, is when those pads come on. That's what I'm looking for. Apparently, Mike Silver still saying there's a chance that Aiyuk and Deebo could get traded between now and the November deadline. Yeah. I'm anything related to trade conversation, I think from here on out, I'm just gonna let that play out. We're gonna let that play out, baby. I'll be at training camp. I'll be at training camp. I'll be at every practice I can get myself to. Training camp's one of my favorite times of the year. This will be my 4th year independently covering training camp. So I feel that I have a really good feel for exactly what I'm looking for in training camp. The way that I evaluate practice, I feel that I have a very good feel to be able to contextualize what practice is supposed to be and what it means. Um, so Brian said Brad started the training camp coverage hype. Bro, I remember 2019. 2019 training camp was the first year that I went to camp and covered it like I was covering training camp. And then obviously the pandemic messed that up. So that took me out the loop in 2020 because no one could go. And then I remember 2021, it was me, Jordan Elliott, and Jason Aponte. Only 49ers content creators out there covering training camp. And then since then, it has been it's cool to see. It's cool to see how it's changed because now a lot of people are over there. But I think Kyle's talking right now. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Are we gonna simulcast this? Is that the vibes? Kyle's talking to the media. All right, hold on. Let me see if we can simulcast this. All right. We always seem to have some kind of trouble with this. So let me see if we can get it to work.
Check out of it, when I don't
Can
have
you
as much to
guys
do with players aren't in
hear?
the building. It's kind of hard not to just check in and ask how it's going, but there's not that many updates. I mean, that stuff takes time and everything, but now, especially with guys in
Can you
practices,
hear
training
him?
camp, stuff I don't ask about at all.
Well, up to this point, when we've asked you about Brandon, you said it's voluntary, and in similar situations the last 4 years.
You can hear him.
contract
Oh my gosh, we
situations have
figured it
ended
out
for
first
mandatory
try.
minicamp. Does
We
your view
figured it
change
out
on,
first try.
Brandon and his status with the team now
Let's
that this
go.
is mandatory and he's not here?
No, to me, it doesn't change at all. I mean, you find out when guys are in those situations where they come or not, and some guys come because they want to avoid a fine, and some don't. But regardless, it doesn't change anything. When those guys have come, it's not like we know what the process is, we know what the business part is, and that's just how they decide how they want to handle this week.
Where's Diamador today?
He's out there. Yeah, we just kept him out of practice. Yeah, there's a couple guys who kept out. Just they've been here for a little bit and tightness and stuff.
Why is Ricky wearing the blue non-contact jersey?
Just like to single them out so you guys can find them. No, anytime. Yeah, he had a little soreness from a couple weeks ago, and when it's like that, we still want him in there, but it allows guys to avoid him as much as possible.
He's been prolific in the practices that we've watched. I mean, what is your early assessment on how he's doing?
I mean, I wouldn't say prolific, but maybe I don't understand that word very well. I think, yeah, he's doing a good job. I mean, he's got really good hands, so he always catches it. I mean, rarely he's gonna have a drop. We're getting him a lot of reps. He's getting a lot of different routes, trying all the positions, and I've been really impressed with how he started off.
How do you see Logan Thomas fitting into this tight end group, and what do you expect from him?
I really wanted to just up the competition there with the group and get a guy in there who's had success in this league in the run and pass game, who's been on a few teams and done it before. We like our group and there's some competition there, but having the opportunity at this point in the season to be able to add a veteran like Logan with his skill set and be able to get him in here to come compete and him being ready for it was something we were kind of pumped to pull off at this time. And we're just going to have him watch this week because he just got here today, and we'll give him a chance to come in training camp and compete with those guys.
Want to expect to be ready for camp?
Yeah, he should be ready around camp.
Any setbacks?
No, there hasn't been. It has not.
We haven't talked to you since Juwan signed his contract. What does it mean to have him back out there and know that you have him here for the next couple of years?
I mean, you guys, I think everyone knows how much we love Juwan, just his style of play, just his personality, him in the building. And I mean, the way he plays on the field is just this example of everything you want. So he's been great for us here so far, and pumped that he's going to be around here a little bit longer.
Well, you've got the
3 veteran wideouts. You drafted one in the first round, drafted another one later. Maybe lost a couple blocking tight ends. Is it possible that you're looking maybe at go more 3 wides?
No, I don't think we have a change in philosophy on anything. You just name 5 receivers and usually keep 6. You know, sometimes you can keep 5 and keep 3 on practice squad. So, I mean, that's kind of how the numbers work out. And we had a couple guys who had been here for a while that we lost in free agency. And you got to replace those guys. It won't be easy with Charlie and Dwelly, but we do have a group who've been here. That's also why, you know, we anticipated that could happen. That's why you invest in guys like Latu and Braden the year before and hope that they get work so they're ready to take over that role. And that was tough on Latu, missing that whole year. But Braden got a lot of work because of it, and it gives him a better chance now to try to go in that spot with the guys he's going against.
What are you learning with the new kickoff rule in terms of, do you have any theories on, is a different skill set as a returner going to work? The ball today, what were you on that?
I'm not sure totally on the returner. They're all so different. It's not like, the styles of kicks used to be the same. You wanted hang time as far as you could go. Are you getting squib kicks? Are they bouncing? Do you want a shortstop who can just center, who can just get the ball off the ground clean? Do you want the typical guy who can just hit that seam? Do you want more of a punt returner who can be more at a dead stop and go side to side to find the crease? So if there was one style of kickoff, I think we could come up with that, but I think they're all going to kind of be different. So I think it's going to be all types of players. I do think when you eliminate the space and everything that it'll probably be more big guys and stuff up front on both sides.
How excited are you that Purdy and Pearsall seem to already have a little bit of a on-field connection and it looked like they've repped it?
It's been fun to watch both of them. I mean, I know, Brock doesn't always get to watch how the route gets there, but he knows when guys end up in the right spot and they catch it. That's where quarterbacks get comfortable, and I think he can feel that with Ricky right away. I mean, he's been getting to the right spot, and when he has made mistakes, he understands it and corrects it, and I think that's why those guys are going to have a lot of fun working together.
Talking possibly changing the schedule of the offseason, coming back earlier in July and not doing some of the spring stuff. Do you have an opinion on what would be good or bad about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think eliminating an off season so you can have a 7-week training camp isn't the best idea to me. I mean, they used to do that, but they did 7 weeks because people didn't make as much money, and in the off season they had other jobs, so they had to leave whatever jobs they were doing, and they didn't work out in the off season, so you had to go to like a 7-week training camp to get guys back in football shape, which took a while. And nothing's worse than a 7-week training camp, even as a young ball boy. And so I don't totally like that. I also like the idea of, I just believe that when you end a long season, you need to get away, but you don't just get better in that training camp right before the season. I liked spring ball in college for myself as a player. That was the last time I played, but I felt like in spring ball, you could go and improve on stuff. And sometimes you look bad in it. Sometimes you look good, but there was things you worked on, and then everyone got away. And then you had 2 months or a month, whatever that summer is, to gain on those people and to go work out and get in shape. And yeah, I just worked on football in an off season that was provided because I can't go play in the Olympics or the YMCA or anything like other sports or a batting cage and things like that. And then now I have this month to gain ground on guys where you don't if you take that away. And I also think it's tough because when you do get guys, like right now, we're in decent shape. Guys will go away for 40 days. They'll come back. But that's also, we have so much science on that. I can't tell you guys how much we've altered our program over the last 7 years. What we do on day 1 to day 2 to day 3 to the first off day to the reps on day 1 to day 2 before preseason game and after. So that's why the soft tissue injuries do get better. But if you don't do anything as a professional athlete for those 40 days away without us watching you, you might pull a hamstring. We're going to do everything we can to protect that. But if not, and you're still pulling them, like us making you come a month earlier might help that person. But I also think anyone who doesn't know how to work out and they're 40 days away, you're not going to make in this league very long anyways. So it's not too bad to weed 5 of those guys out.
Why is it not so important for the veteran leaders?
How did you know I was dumb? You just been holding your breath that long?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Why is it not so important for the veteran leaders to participate in these practices? Is it because you're installing things that they already know?
No, it's that, I mean, you want all guys to work and stuff, but like, and I don't think anything hurts people, but you can get hurt anytime, whether it's here, whether it's anyone or where else. But when guys haven't been here through phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, just to throw them out there and that stuff, we're not going to risk that. And when I think of the risk reward on that, I'm definitely not going to risk it, because no matter what happens today or tomorrow, no matter what happens, we are going to get away and we're going to come back for 40 days. So you hope guys learn from these moments and stuff. And that does apply to what you do later, what you do while you're away. You stack days and you get better. But to think what someone does exactly on a rep or something is going to change their body in a month from now, that's different. And we got guys learning formations, cadences, how to come off the ball, how to run, how to move together. And guys are all over the place. And they're going to get away, and most of them will go work on it on their own and study it, watch tape, know how they're training now. And when they come back and we do the exact same things in training camp, a little with more pads and stuff, they'll actually have a chance to know what's going on and hopefully make a team instead of a practice squad.
A couple more. Christian's obviously not an old guy, not even an old player, but we know that position can age fast or get closer to 30, can be replaceable. We know what the salary's been like. What is it about Christian in your mind tells you that as he gets, this could take him to his 30s, 31, that he's still going to be this valuable that long from now?
Well, the running back market is different than everything. So I think that we feel very good with where we're at with that with Christian, especially I think it's contractually, I think it's 4 more years. But when you look at Christian just as an individual, like I'm not going to compare him to anybody else. Christian is one of the more talented people I've ever been in my life. But if I didn't speak about that, I'd say he's almost the biggest overachiever I've been in my life. It's been around in my life in terms of how obsessive he is with every little thing. And just, you guys have heard us talk about him, but that's where he's extremely unique. And I mean, as you get older with age, you lose a step or something. That's not what makes Christian great. That's how he is the same player down in and down out. And yeah, it's great to have all the talent that he does have. And he takes care of his body as good as anyone. So you don't picture him losing any of that because of a number. But if that stuff does happen, Christian's always going to be a good football player until he decides not to be. And we're not really concerned with that at all with his type of personality.
What do you think of the state? But how much does the front office come to you and say, we need this player, if we're going to give him this contract, we need this player to be good for 3 more years? Or will it be 2 more years? Does it get that specific in conversations with you?
I mean, just like reporters, everyone tries to get that specific, but only God knows that question. So you gotta evaluate everything, and you think of things, and you think of your history. You
We
think
get another
of the history
Shanahan
of whatever
bar?
numbers you want to read. You think of how your roster is, where it's going to be, and then you think of the individual, and then you try to figure it all out. What's best?
Only God
But
knows.
there's not. Like I like to say, we don't think in absolutes in anything we do. So, I mean, we're never going to say, hey, we don't do this at this age, or we don't do this for this position. Each individual is unique, and I think Christian as much of that as anyone I've been around.
What do you think of the state of the wide receiver market? It seems like it's exploding unlike any other position.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. We've seen it with quarterbacks. You're seeing it right now with wideouts. It's happened with D linemen. It's just part of it.
Was working
More
on,
guys.
Barberis was working on the sideline. Is he on the same time frame as George is to come back?
Yeah, they're both coming back from the core surgery, I think. They'll both be back at training camp.
Looking forward towards him, he's also set to be a free agent coming up. Is that something that you are emphasizing going forward, him and Diamador?
Yes, definitely. There's not many guys on our team that I would say there isn't any who are going to be free agents that we don't want around here. We've got some good players. We've built a good roster. And you can't keep everybody around. But, I mean, the guys that you're asking about, they're as much on our mind as anyone.
CMC had 339 touches last year. What do you think of that usage? And this year, do you see that number going up, or you think it's more likely to go down?
I mean, I don't think it always needs to be that case with all the runs. Like we got guys that can run the ball and stuff. We got to protect Christian from himself. He doesn't like to ever come out, no matter what the situation is. And I do think that's something we could protect him with more. When you are such a threat in the pass game, it's a little bit different, and that's when you get touches from a running back. A lot of times you're the last choice, just everyone's deep and you throw it to a check down. So like halfbacks can get 6 targets in a game without one play called for them, just because they're on check downs a lot. And so how do we feel about those touches? Man, I'm glad he was out there for that check down. That means no one's around and he's getting up the field and he's as good of a threat on a check down as there can be. But if he's just taking the wear and tear with 20 carries and stuff every game, and he's definitely good enough to do that, and he's proved he can stay healthy, but you'd like to take some of that off of him and give it to other guys also.
Last one.
Have you guys finalized plans to practice against the Saints down at UC Irvine?
Yes.
Pause to it's basically now 3 road games. That's a home game week. What were your thoughts on playing the 2 road games and then practicing on the road when you have a home game?
Just that I like practicing. It's more important to me to practice against someone to even play the preseason game. I think it's better for your team. So I wanted to make sure we got one out of that. I didn't want to do it the last week, just with it being so close and that we plan on playing our guys more in that game. And then I also don't like bringing teams here because we don't have as much land. We have 2 fields, and you kind of need a 3rd field. And so I don't like how tight it is and stuff. It's just too tight out there, and it kind of messes our grass up for so long. So it's better when you go to a place that has 3, sometimes 4, even 5 fields.
It'd be the same day off before the day before the game, and then the practice is 2 days out.
Yeah.
Scrimmages in Nashville.
We actually wanted it, but because of the travel and stuff, we have to go out too early, and then it would be an issue. I would love to scrimmage versus them, but because we're going on the road for the next week in our home game, then it's going to end up feeling like we truly are on the road that long. So we'll just go to Nashville the day before the game and come back the next day.
Have you talked to Jed? Asked him to get his act together about the field situation.
No, that's I better not say it. Jed's on that stuff, but I have an idea, but nobody wants to hear it. All right, guys.
Kyle seems pretty happy today. I guess I would be pretty happy too if I locked up Christian McCaffrey on that offense with the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, we've seen what CMC has done since he has locked in with the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, big news today, getting the big time contract. And why not be excited about that? So nothing earth shattering that really stood out to me in regards to that situation. Trent Williams was not there today, but we had a family situation, and just like that, we got Deebo.
How he's fit into the offense.
Been really impressed. Just going back and watching Ricky, he's very fluent in and out of routes, and he got really good hands.
What kind of advice are you giving to Brandon during this time?
Much as I can, actually. I know this is a stressful time, and he's done a tremendous job throughout his career here. And when it comes to things like this, it get tough, and some things you kind of take personal, and it's just like overall, it's just a stressful process, to be honest with you.
Kyle said Ricky's working at all 3 positions. Do you remember as a rookie how hard it was to try and pick up on all the nuances of the offense?
Oh yeah, for sure. This is one of the most complicated offenses I've ever been a part of, and this is the only one I've been a part of. So still to this day, it's still new stuff in week and week out.
When you went through the process that Brandon's going through right now, did you feel like the stress of it affected you in any way that year?
Oh yeah, for sure. At the end of the day, you want to get what you deserve, and at the end of the day, you hope it happens, but it's not going to happen in a timely manner that you want it to happen. It's just, it's just a waiting game, and just, and in this situation, you just let his agent communicate with them, and they communicate back, and it's just a back and forth for a long time.
What's it been like for you, having gone through that process 2 years ago, now to see so many other wide receivers almost on a daily basis getting theirs? Do you take pride in that position to see what other guys are getting?
Oh yeah, for sure. It just shows all the hard work that other people put in, and people just getting what they deserve.
Your name certainly kind of was brought up too around the draft, and John and Kyle did not deny that they'd at least take calls on you, on Brandon, on anybody. Did you hear that, and what was that like to hear?
Yeah, I heard it. Had a conversation with my agent about it. That was going back and forth with whoever it was, but it was a thing at first, but we done moved past it, so we're here to get better.
Oh, he just confirmed that the trade rumors were real.
Next year, so possibly they could get out from that. I mean, do you realize that when you sign the deal almost, or does it hit you now? This might be your last year.
I mean, at the end of the day, contract was signed. I know what I signed up for, and we just focus on this year.
A lot of veterans not participate in OTAs and minicamp. why was it important for you to be on the field for OTAs and minicamp?
I came back phase 3 last year as well, so it's just like the routine that I've built, and you know, I always been here mandatory minicamp, so I mean, it's just the routine I have.
Why the change to number 1, and how does it feel being in it for a little while?
It was good. That was the only number I ever wore in my life, so you know, I always wanted to go back. I actually offered Jimmy some money not to wear it the year that he wore it, and you know, he wasn't going for it, but he just sold it to Stephon, but whatever. So I mean, it was cool to get the number back and just, you know, get the Samuel Senior on the back of my jersey, kind of represent me and my son.
Deebo, what do you do in these 40 days between now and camp? Do you ramp it up? Do you run? What's your workout? Does your workout change?
For sure, you got to take a break. Take my son to Disney World, wherever he want to go, wherever his mom got it planned, because I'm not a planner. I just go and have fun, and then after that, I'll ramp it up and get ready for camp.
Your thoughts on McCaffrey getting a new extension?
When I seen he came back, I kind of wanted some money from one of my teammates, because they said he wasn't coming, but I knew he was coming. But you know, nobody want to give up money. But anyways, it was kind of cool to see it get done. You know, like I said, it's just good to see people get what they deserve, and at the end of the day, we move past it, and we just getting better and better every day.
Will you work out with Trent again?
Huh?
Will you work out with Trent Williams sometimes, right?
Not really. Sometimes.
Thank you, guys.
Interesting demeanor from Deebo, in the sense of, I don't know how to explain it. I talk about this all the time with Deebo. He's such an energy guy. Like, you can kind of sense his energy. I don't know. That felt like a humble energy to me. Am I tripping off that? Again, I've talked to Deebo face to face, you know, interviewing him at the Super Bowl. I talked to him multiple times during that week, and that just seemed like a really low key, humble Deebo. Am I tripping off that? And again, he admitted to being, you know, involved in some, you know, potential trade conversations, right? And nothing came to fruition. But you know, he's one of the veterans out there that's participating. I wonder if that was kind of a humbling situation for him, because we all know Deebo Samuel is a great player. But I don't know. He seemed really humble there. Not that he's not humble in certain situations. But he just seemed like really genuine. You know what I mean? I think someone's saying, like, again, a lot of these interviews are, you know, just trying not to say the wrong thing, but that just felt like he was leaning into it, and you know, just having a conversation. So I don't know. Interesting. But I think Deebo was something to prove. Deebo was something to prove as a dangerous Deebo. So keep that in mind. So yeah, he seemed chill. Not that Deebo isn't chill. Again, I've talked about it on this channel before. Like, Deebo just has this energy to him. Like, you can kind of sense, like, I watch him every game in pregame warmups at home games. He comes right over by where I stand. I'm always capturing him. He's always fresh as hell with his drip. And so, like, he's always fun to watch in pregame warmup. And he always had, like, you can kind of sense the vibe of, like, a super energetic Deebo, a low-key Deebo, and, like, when Deebo comes out in pregame warmup and he's hyped, flexing, screaming, yelling. He typically has really good games. So like I said, he's just an energy guy. But he seemed pretty like just calm. Like there's like a peacefulness over him, which again, I don't think is a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think it's like I said, Deebo Samuel with something to prove is a dangerous Deebo Samuel. So shoot. Listen, I know being a part of trade conversations, then the 49ers drafting a first round wide receiver. I think that there's some writing on the wall there, right? I think any of us in that situation, like if we try to put ourselves into a work environment where that's our job, and they're like, yeah, we're thinking about transferring you to the lowest level, like we're just thinking about transferring you out of here, and we're letting you know that's happening. We're talking with some other departments to see if you would fit in there. And then they're like, well, none of the other departments really wanted you, and so we're going to keep you around, but we just hired this guy to do what you do. He's cheaper than you are. He's younger than you are. And so you know what I mean? I think you get the point that I'm trying to make. Like, I think you get the point I'm trying to make. So this could be a really big year for Deebo. It really could be. It could be a big year for him. It is regardless, but it does feel like exactly like what Roberto is saying. Deebo's like a time bomb, and he's going to explode this year. Listen, man, adversity does two things to you, right? Adversity people either step up to the challenge and they face adversity, or they melt. Deebo Samuel doesn't strike me as a guy who's going to melt because of some adversity. He strikes me as someone who's going to attack and keep attacking. So again, I'll say it a million times. Deebo Samuel with something to prove is a very, very dangerous player. So we're apparently evaluating energies today. Kyle Shanahan energy, phenomenal. Deebo Samuel, laid back, chill, humble, which I like. I like the energy. Good energy. So far, good energy, baby. I like it. Oh, Donald says never pay a running back. You're in the wrong chat, my guy. He said never pay a running back. Wrong chat. Read the room.
Guys,
there he is, man of the hour.
Hope so.
For the last few weeks, like I assume you were asking or were in talks for this extension. How did that kind of process go?
Yeah, it's business is business. It's part of this game. Both sides were mutually very respectful the whole time, and just proud and happy that we got something done.
Last year, this time there was so much talk about the running back market.
Oh, look, he did
not
go to OTAs
raising that bar for
a reason.
As a whole.
I think it's really important. I think running backs have been undervalued for a long time now, and hopefully this is a step in the right direction.
Prominent last year during OTAs for the amount of work that you were doing in the practices. Were you able to kind of do that workload elsewhere while this was all being worked out?
Yeah, there's no substitute for being on the field with the guys to practice football, but you do the most you can with what you have.
Christian, you had an amazing year last year, but it's been said that you've obsessed a little bit on the fumble in the Super Bowl. Is that an accurate description? How do you view it, and how has it served as a motivator?
Yeah, I mean, I don't harp on one play, bad or good, especially going into a new year, completely new year. You just got to focus on one day at a time and just stick to your process, whatever that may be. But last year's last year, whether we won or lost. We're deep into the offseason now, ready for this next year.
Great answer.
Your time in this organization, what has made you just happy that you are going to be here for the next several years, and just respect your prior organization, but kind of what makes you happy here?
I really appreciate the players on the team. I think, anytime you sign an extension, obviously you're individually really happy, but then you also have to think about the other guys on the team who have helped you get there and who are a big part of your individual success. So I really, I'm very thankful that I'm on a team with guys like that, with a great staff, just an overall great organization, takes care of the players. And so I've had nothing but an amazing experience in my time here, and I'm really fired up that I'm staying.
Just wondering what it was like to walk out in the field. I saw you shaking hands with a couple of players when you first got out there. What was the sense of relief?
Yeah, I think it was awesome. I'm very fortunate, man. I'm really blessed, and thanking God every minute just because I feel really good. But at the same time, we got to win football games, and that's the business side of it. And you got to learn how to separate the business side, and then when you're back on the field, make it about the football side. But I'm definitely not just ignoring it. I'm happy. I'm excited about it, and appreciate the guys on the team.
Impressions of Isaac Brenda?
I think he's great. I've been with him for one day. I think both all three of the new running back additions are fantastic. They're smart. They're detailed. They go about it the right way. You can tell that instantly. And, listen. Coach T's on them, and they listen, they respond, take coaching well, and excited for all three of them in the room.
What was it like for you watching the draft with Luke getting drafted, and what's he gonna watch?
Yeah, that was awesome, man. It was emotional. It was so cool to he's like the little brother of you didn't really kind of hit me when I saw his name go across the board. But you're like, damn, that's Luke's playing in the NFL. I was just so proud of him, and I know how hard he's worked. I know the journey he's been on. I know the ups and the downs that he's gone through, and he's done nothing but persevere through them. So I'm fired up for him, and hopefully he has a lot of success.
We always talk about championship windows, and we know how talented this roster is, but there's some older players on it too. Armstead, had left the team this year. How much window do you see for this team? How much extended does this team have a chance to keep this window open to win a championship?
I don't know. I know we got a window this year. That's all I know. So I'm focused on this year and taking it, one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 year at a time.
Turner and how he's really on the young running backs. He also is very much on them during the whole draft process. Did you have contact with him when you were going through that at all?
Yeah, I met with him in the train station late at night in passing for a little bit and just got to talk to him. But, my dad played for the Broncos when he was the running back coach and Coach TD. And so obviously I knew who he was, and I'd already heard the legends. So I was fired up just to be able to chat with him for a little bit, and, all kind of comes full circle. So thankful he's my coach, and, just in lieu of this extension, he's somebody that plays a huge role in that.
Leonard Floyd actually spoke last week and said the difference in this team compared to other teams is how hard this team works. You've just extended for an extra 2 years. If you can kind of specify what is the difference with how this team prepares you guys to go out there. You just spoke about the window compared to maybe other teams that you've been a part of.
Yeah, I think the difference is the culture. Culture's been set for a while, and the standard is really high. I think when you have a lot of really good players who are also your hardest workers, it's a recipe for success. And it's the way that we're coached, I think, is different. It's all about football. When you get in these meetings, you're going over football. You're not just going over technique, but you're going over the attitude. As an offensive player, I love watching the defensive meetings when Kyle's coaching up the defense, because you start to understand the attitude of the team and the tone setters, and there's a certain way you play football, and hear the film examples of it. And I think the combination of all of those different things, the way they feed you, the way they take care of you, and the training room, all the weight room, all these things that kind of come together, you get a full buy-in. And I think when you have a full buy-in, especially from your most talented guys, it's a good recipe.
This contract will take you into your 30s, and since you're a running back, you're supposed to like fall apart on your 30th birthday. Do you view that as just another challenge to show that you can be different?
Yeah, I've never really listened to all that stuff. I think I've seen a lot of backs have a lot of success into their 30s. So I've never really listened to any of that. I feel good. That's all I know.
All right, one thing. You said you met with Bobby Turner in a train station late at night. What was the train station?
That's where the combine is, at that hotel in Indy, yeah. No, yeah. I could see how that would be a confusing statement. Yeah.
Do you still have that much contact with you now that you are running for him under Ethan as a coach?
Oh yeah. Constant communication. Yep. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we paid the right one. We paid the right one. Oh, I'm so hyped, man. I was just thinking about it, like CMC is going to be one of those legendary 49ers, like one of those guys who, even when it's all said and done and hangs it up, we're going to have that guy around and a part of the legacy of the San Francisco 49ers for years to come. Like, yeah, we love him now and what he's going to continue to provide for the San Francisco 49ers, but just listening to him talk, that's a good ass dude, man. That dude is so chill, so professional, locked up, and just absolutely a professional. Like, when it comes to giving answers, he's always taking the high road. Anything, he'll never say anything out of turn. That's quality. That's quality right there. Dude, I was thinking about you today. No, what do the kids say these days? No cap. I was thinking about you today when we found out that Christian McCaffrey had signed, because I remember you had asked what jersey you should get, and we had went through a bunch of different options, and we had landed on, like, obviously Trent. I'm a big Trent guy. My Trent one's right there, but we were like, CMC is a great one to get. Great one to get. And now even better that you get to rock that jersey through 2027. I would say right now, Christian McCaffrey is amongst the most safest jerseys to purchase of the San Francisco 49ers. Again, because once you start getting into this and you start investing money into the team, you want to invest it into guys that are going to be around. Because I've told my Patrick Willis story of the first jersey I'd ever bought with my own money, and one of the reasons why I bought it was because I was like, oh, he's going to be here for many more years, and then he ended up retiring shortly after I bought it. So always something to consider. Roberto says, Brad, so loving your content, bro. SDS Hyde is buzzing. Shout out to Roberto, man. Thank you so much for the super chat and the compliments on the content. I know off-season content can be... Off-season content isn't for everyone. I totally get that, because a lot of the thing, it's
so going good. I feel good. Back and running, doing DB drills,
Mooney War,
everything I need to be doing, leading up to training camp. So I think I'll be ready day one to camp.
How challenging was it to play that second half of the season with the injury?
You said how?
How challenging was it?
I done had this injury for like almost 4 years now, dating back to when I was in KC. So, I mean, it just started to get a little worse over time. You know, the grind of a football season. So it started to wear on my body a lot. So, I mean, I just felt like I had to get it done. I mean, I was balling the second half of the season. So, you know, it really didn't take much of a toll on me. Seemed like it.
When you say it got worse, I mean, was it like you mentioned, you're playing well. But
Yeah.
Did it get more difficult just to play through it?
Just like my day-to-day life, like just sitting down, my lower back started to hurt. Driving the car, sitting in the car for a long period of time, my body was just aching, just doing that. And once, my back started to hurt, I'm only like mid-20s. It felt like I was 35, 40 damn near. So I had to get it done when that started happening.
I know the struggle.
What we're obviously had a great season last year. What are you looking to improve, or what aspects do you think you can get better?
Capitalize on a lot of missed opportunities I had last year. I feel like I could have had almost 10 interceptions last year. So I want to just, make more plays, try to become more of a leader, more of a talker. I'm kind of like the old head of the DB group now. So, I just become more of a leader and make more plays, be better than I was last year.
What are your initial impressions on the young guys coming in?
I haven't been with them too much because I've been rehabbing, but just watching film, I think Ronaldo, that's his name, right? Ronaldo. I didn't know if it was Ronaldo or Ricardo, but I know he can play. I know he can play just by like watching film. He's super sticky in coverage. I think he's smart. Once he get a little more reps under his belt, I think he's gonna be a baller for us.
Mooney, receivers. What do you think of Pearsall and Cowing, the two rookies so far?
Cowan super fast, like real fast. Ricky, he's shifty. Got good moves, good hands, create a lot of separation. So I think those guys are gonna help us out a lot this year for sure.
The Nick Sorensen kind of defensive partnership is going to be like, you guys kind of set a tone right now.
You said, do I have a feel?
Yeah.
Oh well, Nick been around, for a while here in San Francisco. So, I mean, I think it's gonna be status quo. We're gonna be the same defense, probably, hopefully, fly around a little bit better, and try to get over the hump and win the Super Bowl. I think only way we can get better is become a championship defense. We'd have been to the conference championship, Super Bowl, we just haven't won it yet. So, yeah.
Have you spent any time with Brandon Staley? I know he's spending most of the time with the DBs.
Like I said, I've been rehabbing a lot, so I haven't been with the coaches a lot, but I know he's super smart. Seemed like a good coach, funny. I talked to some of the other guys about him, about his coaching style. They say they like him, so I'm pretty sure I'll fit right in and have a good relationship with him.
You've been on a Super Bowl winning team and you've been on a Super Bowl losing team.
Yeah.
Are there any intangibles, like in the mental approach to the game, that you noticed that were different in those two situations?
I don't want to sound dumb, but what you mean by intangibles?
Obviously, you prepare hard on both sides, but
Mhm.
were there any
I love this
things
guy,
that you
man.
noticed that were different last year as opposed to when you were on the Kansas City team where you won?
I honestly, I think we was the best team. We was the better team. They just, well, I wouldn't say better team. They were the better team because they won, but I feel like we had a little more talent, but they just had the best player in the NFL. So, I mean, they got it done. That's point blank period. Mm-hmm.
Going into the last year deal here, how important is this year for you? And would you like to get something done to stay around, or do you want to kind of play this out?
Talking about a deal? Yeah, I like to stick around. I feel like it's a good team. They love me here. I love it here. Love all the coaches, love my teammates. But I just let my agent handle it. That's the business side of things. I'm just do my job, go out there and ball, put the pressure on them. Hopefully they give me a bag. If they don't, I know it won't be like any bad blood in between me and them. It's just like it'll be a business decision. But I'm pretty sure they'll like to have me, and I'd like to stay here for sure.
Mooney, how excited are you to have Floyd with Bosa up front this year?
Leonard Floyd, right? Leonard Floyd. I think he a dog, man. I've been watching him a lot of his career with the Rams and the Bills, in Chicago too. I think he a dog. He can play. It seems like he got a lot of good energy by himself. He play hard. He run to the ball. So hopefully it just make my job whole lot easier. You know what I mean? Well, he is 8-9 year vet, maybe 10-year vet. So he an OG. So I know he gonna get the job done whenever he in the game for sure.
Do you plan on going back home to do the rest of rehab during the 40 days off?
Yeah, I'm going back home. I got to be with my family a little bit. Yes, man.
During the off season, how life changing was that?
I went to a lot of places. I went to Africa. Feel like it's one of the best countries. Just to see our people over there, you know what I'm saying? It was, I don't want to, I saw a lot of black people over there, and it just felt good to be around them, you know what I mean? And to see like how they live, they don't have a lot like we got in America. They don't stress about the things we stress about, like, the fancy cars, clothes, and everything like that. They just happy like to get by every day, So a lot of them was super poor, poverty, but their spirit was way up here, you know what I mean? So that's what I love about Africa. definitely see myself going back over there to help out once I retire, and toward the latter end of my career for sure. You know, I want to help my people out for sure.
Kind of help to put this season into perspective. When you got the surgery done and deal with the injury. You just said you have goals that you wish you had taken advantage of last season, and then to see that with a new perspective, did they help you to come into this season with an even broader perspective on what you need to do?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again? I ain't really.
Sure. So I was a little winded. With that, being that you went out and you saw that, and you said it changed your perspective about things.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what you've been through to get to this point, losing the Super Bowl, having the surgery, do you have a new perspective coming into this season on what you have to get done personally and then as a team?
Personally, it just taught me to be more grateful and thankful for everything I have. You know, NFL player, rich as hell, got one of the best jobs in the world, but I still kind of like stress about like small things that I shouldn't stress about. So it just taught me to be more grateful, more thankful for everything. Like I said a few seconds ago, like they don't have much, but shit, they spirit was like way up here. You know, everybody had good personalities that was funny, that wasn't complaining about nothing. So personally, it just taught me to be, like I said, again, thankful and grateful. And this season, I kind of come from poverty too. I come from nothing. So I know I went all pro last year, Pro Bowl, but I don't want to become, what's the word, comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So it's just gonna teach me how to grind harder and, you know, match what I did last year and becoming much better.
What part of Africa did you travel to?
I went to South Africa, Zimbabwe, Johannesburg, and Cape Town. All three of them was a vibe. I love all three of them. Made some friends out there. I'm gonna fly one guy out here that I met out in Africa to meet his daughter. She go to school in Denver. I think she go to culinary school, and he can't really afford to come out here. So, you know, I'm helping to come out here for sure. I feel good when I do stuff like that. Yeah.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. Hey, why you never ask me a question, bro?
Mooney gotta be the realest on the entire team. I don't think there is a I think a lot, like I think of myself, like I try to like filter my thoughts. I think that's why a lot of people like accuse me of being a slow talker, because I'm like constantly thinking about like what I'm trying to say. So I don't sound like an idiot. But and not to say that that's what Mooney's doing. Mooney's just him. And I respect the hell out of him because he's like he didn't know what intangibles meant. He's like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean by that? And just open, honest, chill dude. I hope we pay him. They talked about it, about potentially getting a contract done with him and extending him. Obviously, I liked his answer. He's like, it's, that's between my agent and, if it doesn't work out, no hard feelings, which I think is a refreshingly honest and accurate kind of understanding of the business side of football. I think 49er fans, or fans in general, can get super wrapped up in the emotional side of the business elements. Like, I think a lot of people are emotional about the Brandon Aiyuk negotiation because it's stressful when we see it play out the way it plays out. But he was like, hey, if it happens, I would love to be here, would love to stick around. If it doesn't happen, it's business. No hard feelings. I get it. Absolutely. It's a business. And they're going to do what's right for both sides. But am I tripping? Are the vibes today good? Like, not that they're not good, but I feel like today was a vibey day from the group. I thought it was a good day. I thought it was a good presser. I'm not gonna lie. I am personally over the Super Bowl questions. Like I really don't think we need to hear another San Francisco 49er player talk about how they're managing the Super Bowl loss. We're all managing the Super Bowl loss still. Let's not I get it. It's, they got to ask the questions, I guess, but it's just like in my mind, I'm like, and trying to like put myself in a football player's shoes, and like they're not thinking about the Super Bowl. If anything, they're doing whatever they can to not think about the Super Bowl. They're doing everything they can to move on from the pain. So, yes, can you learn something from it? Can you take something from it? 100%. But I think I hope this is the end of the Super Bowl questions. Like, they're just depressing. Let's keep the vibes up. We're on to 2024, on to the next, So I just hope that we keep it moving, keep it pushing. And no need to rehash old news. We know every player is going through it, and they're doing whatever they can to get beyond it. But I would say overall press conference reaction and kind of takeaways from today, Kyle, and the players that we saw, chill. Like we talked about it with Deebo, but it's like even Kyle just seemed like laid back, chill. I wonder if it's just like one of those things like where you've been through so much that you're just kind of like, you've almost built up such a tough callus that you're like, nothing can hurt me anymore. Where we've seen it all, we've heard it all, and we're good. We're on to the next year. We've been here before. Britt says, I really want to get Brock's jersey and CMC. And by the way, it was the Eagles you stole me from. Go Niners. He's so wholesome. Shout out Britt. The legend of Britt is she came in here as a overseas fan, claiming Eagles, but wasn't really sure because she's like, I don't really like the fan base. And we were able to recruit. And so we have a new 49er fan, and honestly been very active in the chats. Love to see it. Glad to have you. But overall, from today, nothing crazy out of the press conferences. I think it matched the period of the offseason that we're in. The 49ers are chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like in the sense of they know it, this portion of the offseason when it comes to on-field football drills, I really do think it's geared more towards the younger players. You've seen the list. We talked about the list. There's like half the starters weren't even available so I get it. And I 100% Roberto, shout out. He said, great chat participation for a midday Tuesday at the beginning of June. I agree 100%. Shout out to the chat, whether you guys are watching on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, or maybe the one or two Twitch people in there. But I agree. Great chat participation today. I think we're doing super well. But what I was saying about off-season content before Mooney came on was I was basically saying like off-season content isn't for everyone, and specifically like content creators, because I've seen a lot of people like you try to touch on, at least for me personally, I try to touch on every topic that I think is pertinent in some form or fashion, whether it's entertainment, whether it's information, whether it's, hey, look what's happening. This person said this about the 49ers. I just try to provide you guys with any and all things 49ers that I think you would be interested in. Now, not everyone is going to be interested in every offseason rumor, every potential situation, that every speculation, like the CMC situation, for example, not going to OTAs. A lot of people did not like the speculation about CMC not being at OTAs for not being at OTAs because it was contractually related. And so they were yelling at not just me. I've seen other content creators get chirped for talking about the potential that, CMC didn't go to OTAs because of contract. Well, it was clearly a part of the contract and all that stuff. So I get it. It's the offseason is an acquired taste for some 49er fans. Some 49er fans want everything. I'm one of those people. That's why I think that I try to produce the content that I produce, because I'm one of the I call myself, the smoke chasers. We have a literal tinfoil hat with a hole in it because I love the off-season rumor mill, speculation, trade talks. I just like to talk about it because it doesn't always come to fruition. But sometimes those things that you're like, oh, that's not a thing. Like, oh, Christian McCaffrey's not holding out because of contract. He has a wedding. It's like, well, actually, that was right. And we were on par. You know what I'm talking about? So that's my little soapbox situation about off-season content, because I read your comments and I could see people sometimes don't like it. But again, I'm just not everyone. It's not for everyone. So I try my best to cover all areas in a situation, in a time where we don't really have a lot of football. But I try my best. I try my best. Brian says, Brad's the only content creator with proper amount of optimism without being a homer. Well, I do appreciate that, because I get accused of being a homer quite a bit. And I mean, look at me. I'm a 49er fan. Like, let's keep it a buck. I'm a 49er fan, but I really do try to evaluate everything that's going on through an objective lens. That's just how I've always been. I do get hyped. That definitely comes with the territory. But on top of being hyped, all right. Man, I wish I could share some things with you guys. I just got a very interesting message. Man, I wish I could share it with you. Dude, I have gotten so much tea. I've gotten so much tea that I can't spill, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna be the one to put it out there. I think that's one of the the things that I've learned and matured as being a, content creator who gets a lot of information is I don't want to be a news breaker. Breaking news or sharing news is absolutely a function of my platform. But when you dip into the breaking news, like you're actually presenting the information, it's just a different world. And I don't know if I like it. Because I've remember when I shared that the 49ers were signing Robert Nkemdiche, and the 49ers didn't announce it for like a week, and then they finally announced it, and then John Lynch called me Nostradamus. Because he was like, well, we hadn't agreed to anything at that time, so that guy must have been Nostradamus. It's like, don't shoot the messenger. I was like, Robert Nkemdiche himself told me he signed with the 49ers, so I don't even know. He said blink it in Morse code. I'll just say it's about Brandon Aiyuk. It's about Brandon Aiyuk. And again, I've see, I don't even know what I want to say about it. It's about BA. And kind of an update of where they're at. I think it's an interesting update. I think it's close. We'll see. No, it's not. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. See, this is why I don't like this. It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm gonna say that. But we'll see. I think again, we're close. There's a bridge, and someone just needs to cross it. That's it. I'll leave it at that. Oh goodness. But I think we'll know. Obviously, we'll know what's going down with the San Francisco 49ers when it's all said and done. And my prediction is that Brandon Aiyuk will get paid. And my prediction is that Brandon Aiyuk will be in training camp, ready to go. That's my prediction. Hope to be right on that. But we'll see. We shall see. But man, good stuff today for the group. Love to see the way everyone was vibing today. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey getting paid is the massive news with the San Francisco 49ers. And listen, where we're at right now, we're not going to see a whole lot on the field. The biggest thing right now is that we get the rookies and the free agents up to speed. And you guys stink. But I do like what we've seen today. I do think that what I'm really excited about when we get to training camp is I'm excited to see guys like Renardo Green. Did you guys hear about how the 49ers were actually targeting Ben Sinnott in the draft? And they got sniped. They got sniped by the Washington Commanders. And so basically what happened was, I think it was Eric Branch who reported this earlier today, was that the 49ers really liked Ben Sinnott, the tight end out of Kansas State, in the second round. And Adam Peters, and when you look at Ben Sinnott, he was a guy that I really liked because he was the guy that I would consider to be the most complete tight end coming out of the draft when it comes to blocking, when it comes to route running, pass catching, all those different types of things. He was the most George Kittle out of them all. And we got sniped. We got sniped by Adam Peters. And that's the thing is like Adam Peters was in the building with the San Francisco 49ers all year and then gets hired at the end of the season when all the scouting, the scouting from in season was done. And then they obviously have to go through the pre-draft process. But to really like gauge value, but it sounds like the 49ers were targeting George Kittle 2.0 and Adam Peters sniped them. But the fascinating butterfly effect about this is going to be what happens. Who's better? Which player has more success? That's something that I'm excited to go like look back on in about 2 or 3 years from now. Because if we're talking about Renardo Green as a legitimate starting cornerback, opposed to Ben Sinnott, who, like, for comparison's sake, let's say is a starting tight end, I would say that I would probably lean more towards having a starting cornerback because I just feel like when you look at look at the 49ers, for example, it's been a challenge to really lock down some starting cornerbacks. Like we got to Diamador Lenore through a roundabout way. He was a 5th round draft pick. They had Ambry Thomas drafted in front of him. Emmanuel Mosley was an undrafted free agent, I believe, in the same draft class where Ahkello Witherspoon was a 3rd round draft pick, and Emmanuel Mosley was the better cornerback, and then he gets hurt. It's been a wild ride to try to locate a starting long-term cornerback. Now, right now, we're feeling comfortable with Mooney and Diamador. But if we're feeling really comfortable with Renardo Green, then I don't know. I might like that value of the cornerback bet more so than the tight end. Even if, Sinnott turns into, top 5, top 6 tight end, if you get me Renardo Green in the top 15, top 12 cornerbacks in this league, and you got that in the 2nd round, I feel pretty good about that. I wouldn't feel like, oh, we missed out. Yeah, we got Logan from the Commanders. Yeah, we got Logan Thomas from the Commanders and all that good stuff. So this is how it's going to play out. The 49ers have mandatory minicamp tomorrow. I believe we only have one more media availability before we break for the summer. So I think tomorrow we hear from Sorensen and some additional players. And then I do believe they have practice on Thursday. It might not be a practice. I wouldn't be surprised if on Thursday we see that wouldn't be surprised if we see that the 49ers have some kind of like barbecue or something like that. I think they've done that in the past, where it's kind of like a summer party right before they head off for summer break and then return for training camp. So we got one more day of hearing from coaches, players, some, practice clips, and then we're going on summer break. Honestly can't wait. I can't wait to get to summer break because one, I'm taking advantage of the summer break. I'm actually heading out on a 3-week road trip, basically across the United States, starting at mid-June. And then I'll be back after the 4th of July. So I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, we'll still be posting any kind of content. I'll just be on the road. Might have to turn it into a 49ers travel vlog, traveling across the country and all that stuff. So I'm excited, but I'm excited because when we get back, it's time for training camp. And that's where the fun begins, because like I keep talking about, the best way to evaluate these players is with pads on. And I can't wait to see who's popping off when pads come on. I say it all the time. Pads are the great equalizer. You could take the biggest, fastest, strongest in shorts and a t-shirt, and then you throw the pads on and they disappear. Pads bring out the real dogs, and it's always been like that. When I was a player, it was like that. When I've watched and covered 49ers training camp, it was like that. So can't wait. Can't wait for training camp. Shout out to everyone for who tapped in today. Appreciate everyone who sent a super chat. And we're almost 2 hours on the stream. Damn. Time flies when you're having fun. I'll definitely be back on tomorrow. I'll still be posting content throughout the rest of the day. All that good stuff. You already know. But appreciate everyone. Grab your cookies on the way out. Make sure you smash that like button. And we'll be back for a live tomorrow. But again, we have media availability tomorrow. And more 49ers content coming at you. Appreciate you guys. I'm out of here for now. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see